Hey guys, Nestle here, and today we're back from another YouTube video. Today we're going to be talking about Fubuki from One Punch Man versus Ritsu Kageyama from Mob Psycho. If you're going to enjoy this video, then make sure to like, subscribe. This video will contain minor spoilers for the up-and-coming Mob Psycho Season 3, since I'm going to be covering manga material for Ritsu. And yeah, let's just jump into it. When it comes to strength attack potency, Ritsu shouldn't scale much lower than Teruki in base, who's capable of confident and fighting Ryo Shizame, who is the self-proclaimed strongest of the Ultimate 5, and he could also solo the Claw Division, or the 7th Division rather. The 7th Division leader could destroy a large complex. It's a bit higher than building level, since this building is so large. In fact, the power needed to do so would be equal to almost 30 tons of TNT, or enough to destroy a city block. At 100%, he should be more or less comparable to 100% Mob, who created a storm spanning over several cities, with the power needed to do that equal to 38.5 gigatons of TNT. Note as well that Mob was holding back when he did this as well, so Ritsu could likely scale even higher. Meanwhile, for Fubuki, she blocked a point-blank attack from Overgrown Rover, who is much stronger than half-monster Garo, who fought Super Alloy Titanium Man, who fought Gogetsu, who managed to split a large amount of clouds, with the power needed to do that being equal to over 700 megatons of TNT, or enough to destroy a large mountain. Basically meaning that Fubuki would be overwhelmingly stronger than Ritsu in base, however 100% Ritsu would edge out Fubuki in power. When it comes to speed, and Ritsu should relatively scale to Ryo Shizamaki, in base at least, who is capable of dodging several bullets with his eyes closed. The calc for this puts it around 500 miles per hour, however considering the fact that bullets on average can travel around 1,800, you can arguably put this higher. At 100% he should be relatively on par at least with 100% Mob, who is capable of reacting to and catching lightning. Lightning itself travels at 270,000 miles per hour, but the fact that this was inside of the clouds itself makes it more impressive, putting it at around 26.8 million miles per hour. In fact, Ritsu could be even faster, seeing that he was able to take something out of unknown percent Mob's hand without him noticing. Considering the fact that Mob at his unknown percent power should be massively faster than 100% Mob, then Ritsu could even be more faster than this. As for Fubuki's speed, she was able to keep up, at least relatively, with Overgrown Rover, who is faster than Bang, who's comparable to Atomic Samurai, who could perform dozens of slashes in less than a fraction of a second, requiring her to be able to move at around 59.7 million miles per hour. So, Fubuki does have a higher speed number than Ritsu. However, you could realistically have Ritsu on par or tied in speed with Fubuki, since the unknown percent form transformation is such a big amount on top of 100% already. And it's not like the gap is insane. Fubuki would be 2.2 times stronger than 100% Mob and Ritsu with, the numbers they have. However, Ritsu could just... Again, he could be on par with Fubuki. So I would argue the speed is tied, however Fubuki is more likely to be more faster. When it comes to durability, Ritsu realistically should scale to his attack potency, or even possibly even higher. This is because he's able to take beatings from characters stronger than him in base, and while he hasn't really shown that in 100%, he should at least relatively scale to his own level of power output. When it comes to Fubuki's durability, she should also scale to her attack potency, mainly due to being able to take attacks from characters that we've already went over. Although you could argue this is mainly just with her telekinetic barriers and that physically she's much more weak, but that's a bit of headcanon, and realistically the durability would be the same situation as it would be for the attack potency, with Fubuki being massively more durable than base Ritsu, but 100% Ritsu being more durable than Fubuki. When it comes to abilities, weapon, and techniques, Ritsu has Empowerment and Rage Power, which basically ties into his 100% transformation. He has Telekinesis, Energy Projection, Aura, Force Field Creation, and Levitation. He has Limited Paralysis Inducement with his Telekinesis. He has Extrasensory Perception, being able to sense spirits and psychic auras. Has Non-Physical Interaction, as he's able to exorcise said spirits and auras. He has Resistance to Possession and Mind Manipulation, as all Espers naturally resist being possessed and mentally attacked within Mob Psycho. When it comes to Fubuki, meanwhile, she has force field creation, telekinesis, telepathy, and wind manipulation. She has attack redirection, limited flight, can temporarily nullify the powers of other espers. She has limited statistics amplification, being able to reinforce both Bang and Bomb's bodies, making them both faster for a short period of time. She has healing, supernatural willpower, and has resistance to mind manipulation. So I'd argue that Fubuki has more powerful abilities and is more versatile than Ritsu. As for weaknesses for Ritsu, his 100% state is extremely strenuous on him and only lasts for a short period of time, and it would cause him to pass out if he's in the farm for too long. As for Fubuki's weaknesses, she's very insecure and can get very easily intimidated by sufficiently strong opponents. She also cares for a group of weaker fighters that admittedly hold her back when she's fighting. Fubuki is also stated to be overly emotional and too reliant on fighting in numbers, and she, like other sufficiently strong espers, can resist her psychic ceiling, just like her sister. Her psychic powers are also weakened if her brain suffers damage. So I would argue that Fubuki, just by having more weaknesses, would be more vulnerable than Ritsu, especially when you consider that at 100% Ritsu has no weaknesses. It's just that after he's spent, then he's more vulnerable than Fubuki. So who wins the fight? We've gathered from this that the speed is equal, but more than likely in Fubuki's favour. We've also gathered that Ritsu is more powerful, more durable, and less vulnerable. Meanwhile, Fubuki has got better abilities and is more versatile. So who wins the fight? As we've already gathered, Fubuki would stomp Ritsu in base. Ritsu really does not stand a chance. If you have Fubuki a bloodlusted state, or if she knows about 100% Ritsu, then she wins quite easily. If you start the fight though with Ritsu at 100%, or if Ritsu gets a chance to get into his 100% form, then it's a much more different fight. Not only would their speeds be quite comparable, but Ritsu would be able to easily finish off Fubuki in just a few attacks, basically meaning that the best chance that Fubuki has is her hacks abilities and maybe being able to wear Ritsu down enough till eventually he's overexerted himself and he can't use 100% anymore. The thing is, though, the only really abilities that she has that could really do anything is maybe her attack redirection, if she could redirect one of Ritsu's attacks back onto him, but he's durable enough to take that. And also her ability to nullify the powers of other espers. If she does this to Ritsu before he goes 100%, or if she's somehow able to do it at Ritsu at 100%, then I'd probably argue that she would win that way. But the only thing is, one of her own weaknesses being that other sufficiently strong espers can resist it. Basically meaning that the fact that Ritsu is more powerful than Fubuki means that Fubuki is more than likely not going to be able to use the ability on him. The only other thing she really has is just more reliable ways of getting into the air, with Ritsu being able to levitate and Fubuki being able to, fly somewhat. And she does have healing. However, the only thing is, Ritsu can just one, maybe two-shot Fubuki, so the healing's not really going to come into play. So realistically, I would argue that Fubuki would win if, she is bloodlusted or just attacks base Ritsu. However, if you start the fight with 100% Ritsu, or Ritsu gets a chance to go 100%, then I'd argue that he would win. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.
Then you will die braver than